This is Jacobstown from Fallout New Vegas. On the surface, it seems like a nice cabin-style resort filled with plenty of friendly super mutants at the bottom of a bowl of snowy mountains. I thought it looked like a nice place to stay, but I couldn't find any reviews online, so I figured I would be the first to do so. Is this a 1-star resort, 5-star resort, somewhere in between? I was determined to find out. So first up, hotel and resort star ratings. Do you know how they work? I didn't, but I did some digging, and from what I learned, there are different organizations depending on the country or part of the world that you're in. Jacobstown is, of course, in Nevada in the USA, but as far as I can tell, the US doesn't have a widely accepted system to provide standardized and understandable ratings. There is the Forbes system, which has 3 ratings, 5-star, 4-star, and recommended. But the only official description I could find from Forbes is these quick one-sentence stingers. For recommended, these are excellent properties with consistently good service and facilities. 4-star, these are exceptional properties, offering high levels of service and quality of facility to match. And 5-star, these properties deliver an outstanding experience and consistently offer a highly customized level of service. Cool, but this isn't very tangible. There is the AAA, AAA Diamond system that ranges from approved, 3, 4, and 5 diamonds. On their website, they describe a 5 diamond effectively, ultimate luxury. But 3 diamond, 4 diamond, and one of the approves are described as refined, enhanced, and distinguished. I have no idea what that means. For 3 diamonds, you better have comprehensive style. For 4 diamonds, you better have the right touch of service. You know that if you're trying to get 5 diamonds, you need extraordinary physical attributes, obviously. Now, shout out to the hotel star system that is used in much of Europe. It has their criteria listed online in comprehensive style. We will revisit this list later, but it honestly goes above and beyond what we need and what we expect for a resort in Fallout. I mean, the standards need to be adjusted in a post-apocalypse, in my opinion. So I have come up with a simplified, easy-to-digest system to make my rating. I have given myself 8 criteria with which to award points. Each one of these criteria has the possibility to get between 0 and 1 stars, including half and quarter stars. And I've also left some space if there are any surprises, good or bad, to modify the rating. But I am capping it at a 5-star as per most of the standardized systems. My 8 categories are 1. Amenities. In other words, activities, things to do for fun and keep you occupied. 2. Safety. 3. Room quality. 4. Bathrooms. Now, there's a distinction between room quality and bathrooms because only some rooms in Jacobstown have bathrooms included. Other ones don't have one in the room itself and just have like a public restroom area. Number 5, cleanliness. 6, service of staff. 7, restaurant and food. And 8, aesthetics. To determine my rating, I stayed at Jacobstown for a weekend and conducted a blind examination. None of the employees knew I was coming, so I was treated like any other guest would be. I arrived around 5:45 p.m. on a Friday night, stayed Friday and Saturday nights, and checked out at the designated time of 10 a.m. on Sunday. My first impressions give us some insight as to the service and safety of Jacobstown. When I first arrived at the gate, I was greeted by several staff members who welcomed me in. They established some basic rules and sent me on my way.
Welcome to Jacobstown, human. You're free to walk around. Just don't stare at the Nightkin. They don't like people looking at them.
Yeah, any rules I need to know about?
Same as any civilized town. Don't start any fights or steal anything. We'll treat you fair. Not a lot to ask.
That's not a lot to ask at all. Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Marcus. I will see you around.
See you.
One thing they didn't do, though, is give me a frisk. And boy, was I packing heat. Several weapons, big and small, bladed melee weapons, explosives, all of which they let me take through, no questions asked. I'm not going to be using this stuff on these facilities, but what if another traveler comes through and they had a different idea? This is a serious safety concern, for sure. As I entered the resort grounds, I saw some staff.
Bother someone else. I don't want anything to do with you.
We will chat with them later, but first I wanted to get to my room and switch into some comfort clothes. There was no one at the front desk to check me in, but thankfully I had done so online beforehand. I wasn't given a key or a room number and said some instructions to find my room. They said, go up left stairs, down hall, second door on right, crossed out, no left. Okay, not too bad, but would it be so hard to throw some numbers up on the doors? Afterwards, it was time to head down for some dinner. On the first floor, there is a kitchen, but unfortunately no one was working when I was there. I took a guess that it was a buffet-style service, so I grabbed some squirrel stew from the fridge and heated it up. I wasn't exactly sure where to sit down to eat, so I took my meal out to the main entrance, grabbed a seat by the door, and enjoyed my meal. The stew was so-so. It had a funky smell to it, and the squirrel was a little grisly. I then went back upstairs and checked out the patio. There weren't any chairs to sit down, but it provided a great view of the grounds and the surrounding tanes. I was pretty tired at this point though, so I headed back to my room to catch some Z's. There was some pretty good soundproofing in my room. I didn't hear anyone walking around or using the bathroom. I've slept in better beds, but honestly I was so tired that I just passed right out. Overall, now that I had spent a night in the room, I can say that it's okay overall. It's spacious, has adequate storage, decent lighting, a fine bed. Overall, I'm going to give the room a half a star. In the morning, the first thing I wanted to do was use the bathroom and take a shower. There are 2 bathrooms in the main building. The men's bathroom had a few stalls, urinals, and sinks. The toilets were pretty grimy and there was no toilet paper. The urinals were weirdly really high up, like way above where my junk sits, so they seem to be calibrated more for the super mutants that seem to be frolicking around this establishment and not so much regular humans. The sinks, though, were pristine, some of the finest I've seen in all of the wasteland. I didn't see a shower in either of the bathrooms, so I'll keep an eye out for that, but unfortunately I'm going to be stinking up the resort a little bit this morning. Back downstairs for breakfast, and no one was working in the kitchen again, so I helped myself to some iguana bits. This time I went outside to eat. There's a nice outside picnic area right by the front entrance. It was pretty nice. I spent the rest of the morning checking out the outdoor activities. There is a petting zoo, and, well, not much else.
Jimmy? Little Jimmy? My, how you're grown up. So good of you to come visit your grandma.
While I was outside, I checked out the bungalows. There are 6 of these. 3 are boarded up, but we can check out the other 3 right now. Okay, not too shabby. Ooh, Nuka-Cola Victory. Oh, a bathtub. Look at that. There's a little syringe here. Maybe I'll move those over out of the tub. Yeah, I think I'll grab a seat here. Do some bathing. All right, there's another one over here. Okay, a little messy in this one. Some garbage on the ground. Table with some cards. A lot of empty bottles, a lot of various business papers. And oh my Jesus. What is this? That is a human corpse. That is a body. Oh, it looks like it's just stuck into the ground, too. Disgusting. Oh, quite disheveled. No tub again. We did find a bathtub, but to my count, this is the only one in Jacobstown. I think this is a good time we can give our official rating for the bathrooms. So the pros, there's 2 bathrooms with plenty of stalls, clean sinks, but I think that's about all I can say. As for the cons, no bathroom on the first floor of the main building, only 1 shower for the entire resort, extremely dirty toilets, poorly positioned urinals, no private bathrooms with the exception of these bungalows. Best I can do here is a 1/4 star. Let's now head back inside and check out some of the interior activities. There is a main pool hall. We'll come check this out again tonight. And across the hall is a doctor's office. And that's not something you would typically factor into the star rating of a resort, but important context here, again, we are in a nuclear wasteland, so this is a great plus. Let's see what services they have. Here it is. Got some beds, got some more beds, got some various science equipments.
Hello.
Hey, who are you?
Huh. I'd heard there were new people in town, but I thought it was more super mutants. Nice to meet you. I'm Calamity.
Hey, Calamity, my name's Dylan. What do you do here?
Most of the time, I'm Dr. Henry's research assistant. We're looking into ways to cure the, I'm also handy with tools.
I might need something repaired.
Let me take a look.
Thank you for patching up my outfit there. What else do you have for sale?
All right.
Okay, you got banana yucca fruit. You got some beer. Doctor's bag. Some reading materials, various drugs. Okay, so a good mix of items. See you later, Calamity.
Bye.
And sorry, you look busy, but
I assume this is about something important? You're interrupting my research.
sorry, yeah. What are you working on?
The Nightkin have varying degrees of mental instability due to their addiction to stealth boy use.
Stealth boy use.
I've been trying to come up with a cure.
Oh.
I'm currently investigating the local Night Stalker population, since they seem to have developed a natural stealth field.
Do got your hands full. Okay, so you are a doctor, but you're not really a doctor that can cure someone if they've broken a limb. That would more be just whatever Calamity's selling, so it's kind of like a do-your-own doctoring service. That's okay. It's better than nothing. You know, this isn't something I came in expecting. I didn't even have it on my rubric originally, but it is a huge plus in this setting. It's well run, and compared to the other services of Jacobstown, is well staffed. So I'm going to give this a 0.5 star, which is a huge bonus for the overall star rating. Next up, I wanted to check out some of the other corners of the resort. There are a few rooms that look like they can be booked to stay in, but upon closer inspection, I wonder if that is the case. Some of the rooms are themed in certain ways, but I wasn't exactly sure if they were public spaces. We have a game room, seemingly, a bit of a radio room. Some of these rooms aren't looking too great, though. I mean, check out this one. Oh. Oh, boy. Oh, no. That is a lot of syringes. That is a lot of drug. This isn't your room, is it, buddy? And some of them just confuse me. This looks like an office, but I'm not sure who would want to stay here exactly. Like, who is this for? Now, one of the issues I have with the rooms, just the inconsistency. You know, after taking a look at all of the different rooms in the facility, one of them might be good enough to warrant a 1-star rating. Some of them might be able to warrant a 0.5 star rating, 1/4 star, maybe 0 for some other ones, certainly 0 for some of them. So it's hard to round that all up. I think maybe my room itself would be a 0.5 star, but I think just because of the discrepancy between all of the different ones, I think I'm just going to give this a 1/4 star. Since I've seen most of the rooms in this building now, I'm happy to give my rating on the aesthetics. Overall, it's not too bad. You have a lot of really nice light fixtures that are well lit, some art on the walls. The main entrance is gorgeous with its staircase that kind of frames the front desk nicely. The grounds are well kept. There's living trees, a rarity in the wasteland. There is some snow as well, but the main walking areas have all been shoveled and salted, so you have no chance of slipping. I'm prepared to give the aesthetics a 0.5 star rating. It was about time for dinner, so I went back to the kitchen and was again disappointed to find no staff in sight. So I ended up helping myself to some beans. I did have one more meal, that being breakfast in the morning, but I'm happy to declare my star rating for the restaurant and food now, and it gets a whopping 0 stars. You know, food options were limited, service is poor, kitchen is not very clean, makes me question the food safety of the meals I was eating. Not a good look. Now, it was time to hit up the main pool hall, and I was really looking forward to this because this seemed to be a pretty happening place in the resort. It was always populated and looked like a lot of fun. I brought some drinks with me from the kitchen and hit it up with some of the local guests. All right, what's up, boys? How's it going?
The voices in my head are getting
Okie
louder.
dokie, what's up with you?
Don't look at
Oh,
me.
okay, no problem. And how about you, sir?
Someone's watching me. I can
I
feel it.
mean, I'm looking at you actively. Is it me that you're thinking about? You guys want to play some pool? Could do a little 2-on-2. I'll collect the balls. Perfect. Okay. Do you want to go first, sir? Here you go. Let me just stick that in your hand there. Huh! Okay, I'm going to consider that a scratch. I'll go next. Oh, almost. Your turn next, buddy. Yep, here you go. Yeah, you can just grab that with your hand, with your both hands. Okay, or maybe you want to go, or you want to grab your own pool. Okay. Alright, if you guys don't mind, I'll just take another shot here. Oh, damn. if I do it this way. Alright, boys, I'm solids here. Yeah, I'm going to count that as in. Any of you want to take a turn? Oh, boys. Hey! Woohoo! Good game all around. I know, man, you were really close to a win there, but maybe next time. Maybe next time I'm in town we can play again. Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Don't look at me.
You guys want me to rack it up for you to play another game?
The voices in my head are getting louder.
I think I might have to sit out of the next round, okay?
I hope it will snow later.
Well, it's good talking to you. Good night.
So many staring
Yeah,
eyes.
for sure, man. I feel that too. After a rowdy night, I headed back to my room. I almost got lost, but eventually found my way and pocketed 6 hours of sleep after a long night. Now that we've checked out all of the amenities, all of the activities, there is technically one we're going to do tomorrow, but it's not really at the resort itself, technically speaking. I don't think I can give this a very high rating. As for the petting zoo, I don't know. There's only one animal type. They're not even there sometimes. I would like to see a bit more variety, perhaps. In the pool hall, I mean, I did have fun there, but I can't really say it was because of the quality of the room itself or the activities that were on offer there. It was really just because I was hanging out with some fun guys. And the game room, I don't know, maybe if there were people there playing, hanging out, doing stuff. But once again, this could have just been a room for rent. I don't even know if this is technically a place that anyone is supposed to be going to. And I stayed here for what feels like pretty much the minimum amount of time, right? Just a one weekend. If I was here for even one more day, I think I would be bored out of my gourd. So I think all I'm going to be giving this one is a 1/4 star rating. Now, it was my last morning. I wasn't too hungry this morning, so I hit up Calamity for some fruit and then packed up my stuff in my room. Again, no one was at the front desk to check me out officially, but I left my room as it was when I arrived, so I think they'll figure it out. For my final morning, I decided to take a perimeter hike. A nice final way to take in the sights and sounds of Jacobstown. Gave me a good opportunity to think through everything I'd seen and experienced in my time here. Safety. On paper, there are some issues. The large number of weapons present makes me feel uneasy. There is a wall around the perimeter of the facility, but it's honestly quite fallible, a lot of gaps in the walls. Most of the rooms don't lock. But I have to say that I did feel very safe while I was here. So often exploring buildings in the Mojave, you are greeted by raiders, hostile creatures, radiation, or other hazards. That was not the case here. I never walked into a room and found a bunch of rad roaches, so I'm going to give this a 1/2 star for safety. Cleanliness, this speaks for itself. It's not the worst place I've seen in the wasteland, but for a resort, it is quite poor. The bathrooms, the rooms, the kitchen. I can't in good conscience give this thing anything but 0 stars. Service of staff. So, honestly, I feel bad about this one before I even say it, but the service here isn't great. Some staff were kind, but others were quite rude. And service, there wasn't really service to be found at all. No one manning the kitchen, no one cleaning, no one at the front desk. The doctor is working, great. Guards are working, sure. But these feel mandatory, and a resort is a place I go to be treated like a king. That was not really the case here, so I'm going to give this a 1/4 star. And all of that takes us to 2.5 stars, but there's one more modification I need to make. I didn't have this in my rubric originally because it feels like a given, but in looking through one of the bungalows, I found a dead body. And that is not a good look. It had clearly been rotting here for a long time. Honestly, I should probably outright fail this place for this. It's definitely a big health violation, safety concern. So maybe I should knock it down to 0 stars for this. But again, context. Post-apocalyptic wasteland. So I'm just going to dock it 1/2 star. That gives us a grand total of 2 stars, according to my rating system, which feels right intuitively. This place isn't awful by any means. You could definitely picture it getting much worse. But I do feel like it was not really excelling in any particular category either. It did have one nice surprise for me, which was that there was a doctor. But since I was in good health when I showed up here, I didn't really have any use for this anyway. So while it was a nice bonus and something I did attribute 1/2 star, it really doesn't factor in too much to my overall rating. Now for fun, I thought we could quickly go through the hotel star rating system to see where Jacobstown compares to that criteria. This document has several categories such as cleanliness, proper upkeep and maintenance, and staff service that are all labeled as M for minimum, meaning you can't even get a 1-star rating if you don't meet these basic criteria. And honestly, off the hop, Jacobstown would fail this, so it would get 0 stars by that book. But let's see how many points it would have if it met the minimum thresholds. The categories have a total number of points that can be awarded, with more important ones being given more possible points to acquire. Hotel Star's rubric is pretty solid, although it's weird to me that it's so detailed but it doesn't have a section for negative points to be acquired when finding dead bodies. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight. I mean, that's something that I've discovered on my very first examination, is now on all my rubrics going forward. Alright, let's go through this. So no points for a few of these categories. First up, ambience, harmonious, pleasant atmosphere in public areas. I'm going to say you can get partial. I'll give it 1 point for ambience for the light specifically. Bilingual staff and identification of that staff. No, definitely not. Private parking at the hotel. Yeah. Drop-off zone. Sure. Garage. No. Charging station. No. And bicycle storage. No. Minimum 50% of the rooms with balcony or terrace. That is hard to say because there are a bunch of balconies, but none of them really are accessible. I'll give it 2 points. No lift. And yeah, no wheelchair access. I guess that hasn't come up yet, but really this place is not good for people with disabilities. Big X there. Lobby with seats and beverage service. There is a little coffee machine here and there are more than one seat, so we'll give that to them. Reception hall with several seats and a beverage service. I believe several means more than 2, so we'll give it to them. 24-hour check-in, yes. Self-check-in and check-out, yes. Valet, no. Doorman, there is a doorman, but he kind of sucks. I'll give it 2 points out of 15.
Bother someone else. I don't want anything to do with you.
Business center, temporary office, including computer, printer, photocopy machine, available staff. There's a computer, and there are offices. I'll give it 1 point. Ironing service, no. Laundry, no. Cashless payment? We use caps in this economy. That's a point right there. Up-to-date media? There's media, but it's all from the before times, and it's extremely outdated, so I'll say no. Calamity can do sewing, so I will say there is sewing service. Personalized welcome for arrival of every guest with a gift, such as flowers or a token. Well, there is a personalized welcome, but not necessarily with a gift. I'll give it 2 points. Okay, so for this, there are measurements, room measurements. To do these measurements, I used a pool cue, which should be 1.5 meters in length, and I also used a bottle of wine, which should be 30 centimeters in height, in order to gauge the relative size of these things. The room I stayed in was 13.5 meters squared, which I'm just going to round it up to 14, so I will give it this point here of 10. Number of suites. Suites must be situated within the hotel building to ensure the guests can fully use the services. So I guess that would be the bungalows, but since they're not in the building, that's going to be a no. I measured the bed over 25 centimeters, so I'm going to give it its full 10 points. I estimate the width of the single mattresses is 0.9 meters, so I'll give it 5 points. And double beds I estimate at 1.6 meters. Length of beds, I'm going to say 2 meters. Hygienic covers, unlikely. Allergy-free bed linens, yeah, right. Well-kept pillow, okay, I'll say yes. Pillow menu, absolutely not. Possibility to darken the room with a curtain. No curtains. Adequate clothes storage? Yes. Linen shelves. We can't really look inside, but I'm going to say yes. Hangers? Sure. One seating facility? Yeah, let's say sure for both of these. No for a sofa. There is a little workstation, but it doesn't have all the extras. Bedside table. I think I can give it to it. I couldn't find any power sockets in the room, so cross out all of these. Adequate room lighting, debatable. Adequate place for luggage, yeah, sure. Wastebasket, no. Safekeeping and safe, there is one safe in the building, but not in my room. Noise protection, windows. I actually don't have any windows in my room, which I didn't notice until now. Soundproofing, yes. Air conditioning, hard to prove, but I don't see any vents anywhere, so I'm going to say no. TV, no. None of this phone stuff. None of this stuff. No locking on the door. The bathroom is certainly big enough to give it a full 15 points, but no bathtub. 30% of the rooms with toilet separate from bathroom. Do you guys do that in Europe? That sounds nasty. Shower toilet. No, none of that. Okay, I'll give it a point for the hand wash basin, also known as a sink. Big no for most of these things, except for a mirror. We'll give it 1 point for a mirror. None of these except for a waste bin, which there is. We'll give it a point there. Beverage offer in the hotel exists. In the room, though? No. Fridge in the room? No. Maxi bar or shop with 24-hour self-service? Yeah, technically. Continental breakfast? Yeah, kind of. Allergen-friendly products? I don't know. Are squirrels gluten-free? Regional products? Squirrels are regional. Restaurant. Now, do I consider Calamity to be a separate restaurant? I'm going to say no. So I'm going to say there's one restaurant, so 5 points. And it is open 7 days a week, so that's 10 points. Designated co-working spaces. There are some of those. Adequate on-site recreation and or leisure facilities, indoor and outdoor, such as private garden, tennis court, beach, or access to a lake, golf course, ski room. I guess I'll give it 3 for the petting zoo. Childcare. I'm going to say Lily can do some childcare. No website, definitely no reviews. Sustainability, extremely unlikely. All right, so when we total all of that up, it equals 207, which puts it in the 2-star superior system. It's almost like a 2.5, which honestly, that's pretty crazy because between my system and this system, originally I had it at a 2.5 until I found that dead body. I bumped it down to a 2. But wow, between the hotel star system and my system, both gave a very similar result for Jacobstown, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Doing all this, it makes me wonder what staying at a hotel with this rubric on a clipboard would really be like. I feel like you would be so distracted checking all these little boxes. Would you really experience a hotel like a regular guest? I'm not sure. And also, over time, I feel like your star ratings that you would be giving are very much relative to the places you've been before. How can there be a 5-star resort if you don't have a 1-star resort for comparison? I haven't conducted a thorough investigation of other accommodations of New Vegas. Maybe Jacobstown charts much higher than something like Novak, or maybe it pales in comparison to the features of the hotels on the Strip. But let me know which place you think needs a star rating next. Thank you for watching, and if you decide to add Jacobstown to your itinerary, I think you can do much worse. I think you'll have a good enough time there, but I wouldn't really recommend staying longer than a weekend. Even one night, one day, one full night there, you probably have seen it all. Stay safe out there. I'll see you on down the trail.